She'll be here any minute.
But this is our pie show day, Iroh.
Do not worry, my friend. The director assured me this would only take a few minutes of our time, just to confirm some details.
Hello, Mr. Iroh.
And there she is.
Gentlemen, so pleased to make your acquaintance. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Zhong Ying, the director of the Ba Sing Se Players.
Welcome to the Jasmine...
As you know, the Ember Island Players production of The Boy in the Iceberg was said to have contained certain, let us say, historical inaccuracies. Ugh. And given that the great former general's dear nephew is about to become the new Fire Lord, well, it seemed obvious that the play needed a refresh.
I am so proud of Zuko.
Yes, as we all are. Which is why I wish to mount a brand new production. And who better to tell the tale, to set the record straight, if you will, than you three, who have seen it all.
You could say that.
No, I have. And I did. And so, I entreat you, my dear, eminent, respected, wise, and, dare I say, more than a little handsome gentleman, to lavish upon me the tale of the Avatar from the beginning.
From the beginning?
If you please, I will listen and record for all posterity the real, true story. Not one embellishment, not one! This should take no time at all, as you will speak freely, without interruption, certainly not from me. I will be quiet as a lizard mouse. Quieter.
Mm-hmm.
Ha-ha!
Very well. Allow me to begin. People often talk about the calm before the storm. But this story begins with the storm before the calm. And...
Oh, storm before the calm. How clever. My, don't you have a silver tongue? Do go on. Lizard mouse, lizard mouse.
Thank you. Now, as I was saying, the storm before the calm. Caught in a storm, the Avatar found himself overwhelmed, as did Appa, and they plunged into the ocean. The Avatar and his bison remained in the ice for 100 years, until Katara and her brother Sokka discovered him. How could this boy in the iceberg possibly be the long-lost Avatar? At first, Sokka was suspicious, but Aang's charm and true nature eventually won him over. The three became fast friends, and Aang was welcomed by the people of the Southern Water Tribe. But soon, Aang would make a discovery that would set him back on the path to his destiny as the Avatar.
Did you see that? Aang! Are you okay?
Hey, Katara. Hey, Sokka. Thanks for coming.
Well, I couldn't let you have all the glory.
After escaping from Prince Zuko, the Avatar excitedly flew his friends to the Southern Air Temple, the home he had run away from 100 years prior. He felt shame for abandoning his old mentor, Gyatso, and for running away from his responsibility. Aang entered the Air Temple sanctuary, expecting to meet someone who could help him on his Avatar journey. Instead, he found Momo, a flying lemur who became Aang's friend. Upon exploring the Air Temple further, Aang made a startling discovery and was forced to confront a dark truth. All the air nomads, including Aang's friends and his mentor, had been wiped out by the Fire Nation. He became overwhelmed and entered the Avatar state, which would have led to disaster if not for Katara. And that's when Aang faced the hardest truth of all. He was the last of his people. The last Airbender. He felt he needed the advice of the Avatar who'd come before him, Roku, but didn't know how to get it. So Aang and his friends continued on their journey.
Look what I brought to this place. These people got their town destroyed trying to protect me.
It's not your fault. Let's get out of here. Zuko will leave Kyoshi Village to follow us.
Appa! Yip yip!
The Avatar and his friends then traveled to Omashu in search of his old friend Bumi. There, they were greeted by a wizened old man who...
Hey, who are you calling wizened?
As I was saying, the king of Omashu imprisoned Katara and Sokka. Aang would have to pass 3 tests and win a duel if he wanted to save his friends. Then, the king posed a final question.
What is my name?
Aang realized the king was none other than Bumi himself.
It was all for a purpose. Aang had to learn that you don't just wake up one day, especially after 100 years, ready to challenge Fire Lord Ozai.
But Aang had a challenge for you, did he not?
Oh yes, indeed he did. One we faced together.
Now I understand. You're the spirit of this forest. You're upset and angry because your home was burned down. When I saw the forest had burned, I was sad and upset. But my friend gave me hope the forest would grow back.
You see, Aang learned his lesson well and figured out how to handle Heibai all by himself. Almost. But as was so often the case for Aang and his friends, the victory led to yet another challenge. Aang began having visions of a terrifying comet. Desperate to learn what it all meant, he sought to connect with his past life, Avatar Roku. And he knew just how. At a temple on a crescent-shaped island. But there was a catch. Several, actually. He had to reach the island during the solstice, which was the very next day. And the real kicker? The island was in the Fire Nation. What? His friends weren't thrilled to hear that. But it was a beautiful night to fly on Appa. So it wasn't all bad.
It's good to see you, Aang. What took you so long? I have something very important to tell you.
Is it about that vision? The one of the comet?
Yes. 100 years ago, Fire Lord Sozin used that comet to begin the war. Sozin's comet will return by the end of this summer, and Fire Lord Ozai will use its power to finish the war once and for all. Aang, you must defeat the Fire Lord before the comet arrives.
But I haven't even started learning waterbending. Not to mention earth and fire.
If the world is to survive, you must learn these by summer's end. A great danger faces you at the temple. I can help you face the threat, but only if you are ready.
I'm ready.
With that, Aang channeled Roku's spirit, and with the power of all the avatars, destroyed the temple and drove out the Fire Nation soldiers and the sages who had neglected their duties.
Another close call for the Avatar. Yet it would not be the last.
And soon Zuko himself would aid the Avatar, even if it was for selfish reasons.
But in a way, this set Zuko on a better path, did it not?
You could say that. After taking Zuko to safety, Aang returned to his friends and helped them get better. He had begun to wonder if he and Zuko had met under different circumstances. Would they have been friends?
I imagine your nephew began wondering the same thing.
Oh, yes. But Zuko was still a long way from finding peace.
And the Avatar was still a long way from visiting the Northern Water Tribe to learn waterbending from me. But in time, after more adventures and misadventures, they finally arrived.
Take my hand!
Aang, along with the spirit of the ocean, saved us all that day. But his victory over the Fire Lord was by no means assured. In a way, his journey had barely begun. However, he now had one of the finest waterbending masters I'd ever known, Katara. And now, it was time to travel to the Earth Kingdom. It was time for Aang to learn earthbending.
Iroh is a traitor, and your brother is a failure. I have a task